Fallen Space Marines, this is Andrew, and I've been hearing rumors that John Cena's in talks to star in a live-action Duke Nukem movie, which is honestly perfect. After the whole Shazam thing, I'm really rooting for the champ this time. I mean, the Duke stole his best line from a wrestler in the first place, and I'd love to see Cena kick ass and chew bubblegum in Michael Bay's proposed film. Besides, it couldn't be any worse than the last time a WWE Superstar tackled an iconic FPS. Smell that hot coffee? It's 2005, baby. The PS3, the 360, and the Wii are all announced within the year. Games like Resident Evil 4 set a high bar for the coming generation, while GTA San Andreas ignites the juiciest gaming scandal since Mortal Kombat. I know it, you know it, I'm talking about the sex minigame. And over in Hollywood, the most electrifying man in sports entertainment dips his toes in the gaming waters for the very first time.
BFG.
Today on Cutscene, we're gonna rip and tear through one of The Rock's biggest regrets. 2005's Doom, the worst person shooter. Bad news, everyone! We opened a portal to hell and now cyborg demons are invading Mars. Here's a super shotgun and a first aid kit. Now go kill every single one of them. Doom's brilliantly simple premise could have made for a great action flick, but the problem is, they based it on the wrong game. The original Doom is a heavy metal nightmare made of dripping guts, infernal machinery, and demons straight out of the Monster Manual. The splatterpunk aesthetic had a huge impact in 1993, and it established the grungy industrial vibe that other shooters would copy throughout the decade. Doom's iconic visuals were as much a part of its success as the gameplay, which we knew wasn't going to make the transition to the big screen.
Yo, this game's lit, man.
So why did they change how it looks? The movie is dark, desaturated, and filtered through the obnoxious blue post-processing that plagued every single action movie in the aughts. But Doom the game is bright and bloody and visceral. It's the cover of a Cannibal Corpse album, not The Matrix. Instead of giant demons with horns and cybernetic guts, we get slimy monster men and generic zombies. Instead of midriff-bearing Space Marine armor, we get boring black SWAT gear. The action mostly takes place in gray hallways and shiny metal laboratories, not hellish landscapes decorated with tortured flesh. And I wanted that. I want the tortured flesh. The movie doesn't resemble the classic game at all, but it does look a lot like Doom 3. Its controversial remake that took the series in a different direction, ditching the high-octane action for a slower survival horror vibe. Inspired by Half-Life's cinematic approach to first-person shooters, Doom 3 had much bigger emphasis on story. And instead of racing across twisted death playgrounds, murdering everything in sight, you're creeping through dark corridors, reading text logs, and waiting for the next jump scare. Don't get me wrong, it's still a great game, but it's very different from the carnage that made Doom legendary in the first place. And I wish the movie wasn't so tied to its aesthetic. Even the monster designs are taken straight from Doom 3. They're modernized versions of the classic bestiary, and they're not nearly as iconic. But at least they still come from hell. That brings us to the second huge mistake made by the movie, exorcising the demons. Making a Doom movie without demons is like making a Mario movie without turtles. Okay, bad example, but you get the idea. Before the film came out, the cast and crew gave all sorts of wishy-washy answers when asked if hell would be a presence in the film. Star Karl Urban said, "It's down to your personal belief system and what you believe hell is." Sounds like a cop-out to me, I don't know why. That raised some immediate alarm bells because Doom's hell is as literal as it gets. Fire, brimstone, pentagrams, the works. I was at least expecting some sort of nuanced, artsy Jacob's Ladder afterlife thing, but we didn't even get that. Instead, the demons are genetic experiments gone horribly wrong, thanks to an extra chromosome discovered by an extinct race of ancient Martians.
What? Lucy had the 24th chromosome, but she wasn't a monster. She died protecting her child, not devouring it. Why did the same chromosome that made her superhuman turn Stahl into a monster?
This is the future liberals want. Not only that, chromosome 24 can tell whether you're a good or evil person at heart.
It's choosing, John. It's choosing who to infect.
So if you're a nice man like Karl Urban, it'll give you superpowers equivalent to picking up a berserk pack. And if you're a meanie like The Rock, C-24 turns you into one of the few demons that actually made it over from the game.
Semper Fi, mother.
There are no giant spider masterminds or cyber demons to suck down rocket after rocket, and the final boss is basically just Dwayne Johnson with some shitty prosthetics on his face. We get some imps, a single Hell Knight, a paraplegic Pinky Demon, and lots and lots and lots of zombies. Between the new designs and scientific origins, the creatures lose a lot of what made them special in the first place, and without that connection to hell, Doom is basically just a Resident Evil movie in space. Seriously, there's elite soldiers, high-tech death traps, and gooey bioweapons galore. You could substitute Umbrella for UAC and no one would be the wiser. Satanic iconography is one of the series' biggest hooks. You don't have to worry about killing these monsters because they're literally evil personified, and that's more than enough reason to start just carving their guts out with a fucking chainsaw. It's a fake chainsaw. But the movie tries to justify the carnage with scientific mumbo-jumbo like all these movies do, and it drags the whole thing down.
My molecular genetics is a little rusty.
Now, there's still plenty of violence, and the kills are great when you can actually see them in the underexposed image, but they're not worthy of the game's legendary brutality. The last fatal flaw of the movie is that it tries, but it stops short. For all its problems, Doom does have a few bright spots. Carl Urban and The Rock are proven action stars, and the few references to the games are very much appreciated, including a BFG that puts Steven Spielberg to shame. But the highlight for most people, me included, is easily the first-person sequence. There's no weepy brother-sister subplot, no lame jokes or tired exposition, just some rockin' tunes, tons of ammo, and chainsaw-toting monsters. It's easily the best part of the movie, taking the high-octane energy of the game and channeling it into a single awesome scene. The key word here being single. Then everything goes back to normal for one last fistfight with the People's Champ. Look, I'm not saying you needed to film the whole thing in first person, but then again, why not? We've seen it work in action movies like Hardcore Henry, and it's a lot closer to the real Doom experience than kung fu fighting and ancient aliens. When you play Doom, you're not playing as John Grimm, a tortured soldier with a family and a tragic past.
How long's it been?
10 years. I guess you gotta face your demons sometime.
You're just the Doom guy, and your only motivation is the crunch of a demon skull beneath your boot. It's not exactly suited for traditional Hollywood story structure, but in today's self-aware post-Deadpool era, I could totally see a Doom movie working, especially in light of the 2016 reboot. The new Doom game revels in how little your main character gives a shit about the story.
I think we can work together and resolve this problem in a way that benefits us both.
Once again, you're a faceless, nameless, mute instrument of slaughter, and you couldn't care less about the evil conspiracy at the heart of the invasion. It's actually hilarious the way your character ignores NPCs, refuses boring gameplay demands, and acts impatient whenever something gets in the way of his demon murder. The reboot revels in the excess of the original game, and the movie needed to as well. I mean, can you imagine if Sam Raimi brought his Army of Darkness anarchy to Doom?
Hail to the king, baby.
Or Peter Jackson in his gallons of gore phase. Hell, I bet even the Crank guys, yeah, the Crank guys, are crazy enough to do this concept justice. Basically anyone could have delivered a Doom film better than the restrained, uninspired bore we got, unless Wes Anderson directed Doom, in which case, it'd be real f***ing weird.
Real weird.
Now, with the upcoming Duke Nukem, another gratuitous gaming icon is getting a shot at the silver screen. And it's actually perfectly suited for Michael Bay.
Losers always whine about their best. Winners go home and prom queen.
If you want your movie to capture the insanity of 90s FPS games like Duke and Doom, Bayhem and BFGs are a match made in hell. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching this edition of Cutscene. We're still taking requests for future episodes, and next time, we want to do a good adaptation. So what are your suggestions? Do you want to see Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Silent Hill? Any Dead or Alive fans out there? Please let us know in the comments. Please subscribe to NowThis Nerd, and please, if you see a portal of hell, take a chainsaw with you.